I do understand that AI is important, but at the same time, over dependence is happening. So, your bird eye view of this very vague issue, because you've been somebody who's training people for AI. So, I think you should have, the
Right.
last say.
So basically, see, the AI that we are talking about now is mostly Gen AI we are talking about, right?
Yes.
AI has a history. It goes back to 1950s, right?
Hmm.
When Alan Turing, gave the concept first, right? When
Hmm.
he said that, can machines think like humans? And ever since, so many papers were written on it, so many conferences were held, and AI developed over a period of time.
Hmm.
What's wrong now is, like with any other technology, we are also falling in that trap.
Yes.
We kind of overestimate an impact of a technology in the short run,
Hmm.
and underestimate its impact in the long run.
Long run, of
Yeah,
course.
that is what is happening to AI also. I think there are three schools. If we have time here, I want to explain them.
Mm-hmm.
There are three schools, broadly. One, there are who are like more into gloom and doom, that
Hmm.
AI will take
Eat away the jobs and
all the
everything.
jobs and all. And then there are people like Jeffrey Hinton himself, the godfather of AI. He says that we'll reach a stage in a few years where we'll have, for the first time in the history of humankind, beings which are smarter than humans,
Hmm.
right? So something that they call super intelligence, or
Yes.
artificial general intelligence.
Yes.
So then there are pragmatics, people who have a very pragmatic approach of AI, that it's like a technology.
It's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool. We use it like any other tools
Probably
that
like
are
an
coming.
Excel or like a calculator of sorts.
Exactly. Earlier we had typewriters and computers
We
came
have
in.
Google searches.
Internet, Google,
Yeah.
Wikipedia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all use them. Imagine, somebody writing a news story and then taking a bus all the way to the printing press
Of
and
course.
getting it printed, right?
Yes.
We've come a long way. So AI will help you in that direction.
We remember Johannes Gutenberg, right? How he had to rewrite the Bible for a year because एक page गलत हो गया था.
Exactly. So, so take AI as like any other technology. The only difference is that this technology is evolving at a very rapid pace, right? Very fast pace. Other technologies took maybe decades to develop. This might develop within 4 or 5 years, right? And already we are talking about AGI now, right? We already have agents now.
We
We are
have
talking about
agents.
AGI, super intelligence
Super
already.
intelligence is scary because Vidya Shekhar Sharma has been talking about it since 2023, and I've been following him. Of course, Elon Musk is one person who is very scary because Mars tak jana theek tha, that everybody thought कि बड़ा मुश्किल है, but now he is actually bought in Twitter, given all of its data to Grok. So Grok has just eaten it, and now is behaving like a human, and of course it's acting up. Of course it's hallucinating, but
I
AI
call
as a
Grok the bigda bacha of AI.
he is
Yeah.
absolutely.
So before I forget, the third point,
Uh-huh.
there are now people like, now that everybody is worried about AI and everything, there are a third set of people, including Michael Burry. I don't know if you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the few people who predicted the 2008 recession. So
Oh.
this person says there will be an AI winter. He has already,
Hmm.
he's already betting against this AI thing.
So he's saying that it's a bubble which will
Yeah,
burst.
which will burst, like in 2008 the housing bubble
Hmm. Hmm.
caused a
Hmm.
recession. He says that due to the AI bubble breaking, it will also lead to another recession. He has already started, they call it short putting against Palantir and Nvidia shares.
Oh.
Although
Okay.
Nvidia and Palantir, they say that this is rubbish,
Of
but you
course.
cannot take him lightly.
You
He is one of the few
cannot.
people who he became hit due to the film The Big Shot, right?
Hmm.
So we all saw the he was from the word go. He was very convinced that this bubble is bursting, and
Hmm.
there are people now who also think alike, who think that AI winter
And
will
which
come.
school do you belong to?
I think I am somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it'll, I'm not an economist or some financial person who can predict, market and all. But I'm someone who thinks that, AI as a technology will stay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use it as a co-pilot. It will take some jobs which are already in the process
Oh, you're
being
getting
automated.
eliminated, of course.
Right. And it'll do it at a rapid pace. That is the only
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
But it'll also create a lot of jobs. So I'm thinking of it like a pragmatic person, that it's a technology, use it as a co-pilot. Don't get, too much overwhelmed by how and when it's going to do that, right?
Hmm.
You, skill yourself, skilling is, I think, it's been our, in our history, we always have upskilled ourselves, right?
Yes, of
So
course.
that is what
Change
we
is
need
the
to
only
do.
constant.
Exactly. A AI or a machine can never be a reporter, for example, right? It can never be. It might help you write a better copy. It might help you transcribe, translate your story, but it will never be able to go on the ground and report. Talk to a human person who's in distress. How will it do that?
Yes. See, people are using AI for distress. You remember my article of a 16-year-old who killed himself, this New York Times expose of how, OpenAI was sued for this case. And, there was a whole talk about how AI should not be into the mental health zone. And then slowly everybody came in and said, कि, okay, AI PR में नहीं आ सकता, AI journalism में नहीं आ सकता. But then we've got a Reuters or probably an AVP having a software which helps journalists write better. But that's to cut the desk job time so that they can go and they can report in probably the locations which are underserved. Like there was a teacher who was explaining her fears about AI, and I told her that a teacher like you cannot reach Madhya Pradesh, but then your clone can, and a
Right.
kid in Madhya Pradesh deserves you.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you're sitting in Gurgaon and, this is the hub of education, or probably like a Mumbai, or probably like a Montreal, which is, in Canada. So, we can have like a shared world, which we had in 2020 as IMCNs, because we were closed down. So, 200 EJ students were studying with all the faculty of the 6 institutions in the online setup, which never happened, still doesn't happen too often because of the on the off campus setup, the on
Right.
campus setup, and the offline setup as we call it. But this has been a very interesting realization, the entire school of thoughts of AI, and how they can or cannot replace humans, because we're seeing so much of importance to in-person conversations also. But in our communications field, what zones do you think will still be dominated by humans, and what are the ones which you think people should just stop focusing on right away, because AI will anyways do that?
I think, when you talked about healthcare, in healthcare, AI can easily do jobs where, there is data and you have to analyze it. For example, radiology, right? What kind of a lump can be a cancer? AI can tell that, right? But when it comes to giving, personal care, I think AI still lags there, right? Even in, in a simple job like cooking, we've seen the modern robots, how they fail.
Yeah.
To be honest, they are not able, they don't have that human touch, to be
Yes.
honest. When it comes to communication, I said, writing, editing, researching, transcribing, translation, right? All these fields that can help you. For example, I as a journalist, I used to dread transcribing something. Imagine transcribing hours of, hours of interviews or
Yes.
or press conference.
And then we got an otter which just saved our lives.
Exactly. Then we had tools like Otter, so which helped us, right? So they save a lot of time, but
Yes.
even then you have to entirely go through that transcript,
Of
right?
course.
So that human will always stay in the loop. It will not just be, the human will not only be in the loop, the human will be constantly supervising this. And now we have seen, how AI has gone wrong in so many ways.
Yes.
Right? We see AI has, led to caste bias in India. There was a story I read in the print, which explained, how the biases are coming into AI, because the
Yes.
data is coming from humans, and we as humans are biased.
We are.
So that bias is also creeping into these AI systems.
Yes.
So you have to be aware of what is coming into AI and how it is, what kind of data is there. Is it representational? Is it, when Stable Diffusion came in initially, and you would tell it to create a image of a Indian woman or a Latino woman, all the stereotypes would come in. You know,
Yes.
a Latino woman would be shown as someone who was like maybe promiscuous and wearing less clothes and all. Similarly, an Indian woman would be shown someone dark and,
In a sari, probably.
all the
with
stereotypes
flowers.
exactly
Yes.
would come in. Later on, these tools have, improved, but
But
even
then you
then,
remember that Gemini tried to generate the image of a pope, and every time it was somebody non-white. So they were anti-bias. I mean, to
Exactly.
a point where they were biased against whites.
Right.
Whites are also part of the community, right? Like in South Africa, they're being discriminated. So I mean, Samir has talked about color bias in probably South Indian states. And there is always a bias against the minority. Now, whatever environment you choose, that is upon you. And it's very interesting, sir, to talk to you about things which are not just AI, science, and technology, but also geopolitics. Because when you talked about AI taking place, you are seeing that now. First, it was said that data is the new oil, and now oil is the new data. That is what is happening in the Strait of
Right.
Hormuz. And I know that you don't want to touch very deeply into the political conversation, but when do you think, um, not in a generic sense, but just kind of talking about the Strait of Hormuz in the Middle East, do you think this conflict is going to come to an amicable solution, or do you think that such issues will be kept broiled up to actually power the politics of some people, some stakeholders who are benefiting from it?
I think something or the other will keep coming up. You know,
Hmm.
you will see a war happening in Palestine, then you'll see a war happening in Lebanon, then you will see it in Middle East. I think something or the other will keep coming up. Like now the conversation is that they want to get rid of the old world
Old
order,
order,
right?
yes, yes,
And also there are allegations. Whenever the petrodollar is under fire,
yes.
such wars come up, right? So
Hmm.
there are all kinds of theories. I don't know which is correct. I'm not a geopolitical expert,
Hmm.
right? So what we have observed over a period of time is that when we thought that manual wars are not going to be fought, then we saw the Ukraine war coming up,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Similarly, now all these bombs into Iran, Israel, and Middle East. What is happening to the world? We are seeing some crazy politicians doing crazy shit, right? That is what I see, and I think this is going to continue as long as these crazy powers are power hungry. As long as these politicians are going to stay hungry for power, they will do these crazy things.
Absolutely. No, you've really summed it up so well. But now moving on to my favorite segment of the show, which is the rapid fire. I want to ask Shakur the author, Shakur the journalist, or Shakur the CEO marketing guy. Who is your favorite Shakur?
Ah, always a journalist.
Always a journalist.
Yeah.
Wonderful. One piece of advice that you want to give your peers to handle Gen Zs.
I think handle them like any other human being.
That is so on
Yeah.
point. And what is your favorite sector to cover? I mean, is it always science, or do you like to also dabble into other aspects? Like even in science, what is your favorite news story to cover or read?
See, I may not be covering politics, but I have a good grasp of what I read about politics across the world, geopolitics. If it is global politics or local politics, I read a lot about it. But yeah, science is something as a profession. As I said earlier, that critical thinking. I want to develop that critical thinking, and I also want others to develop that. That is why SciTech, we developed this SciTech literacy platform, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
doing workshops through it, so that people can make sense of how AI can be good and bad at the same time. How climate change is happening. What is the misinformation around climate change? How we need to talk about biodiversity,
Yes.
right? How we need to humans need to think about the planet that we have, because there is no, like they say, there is no planet B yet,
Yes, very
right?
true.
Even if it was, it will not be Earth,
It will not
right?
be Earth.
So I think, yeah, scientific temperament, I think everybody should have that.